know, right?
Even that one still.
I'm gonna still count it.
Yeah.
I haven't tried. Son!
What?
Son! I was. I started yo-yoing in 1996 when I picked up a cheap yo-yo at a hobby shop right outside of Deerfield, Massachusetts. I just learned the basics and that was my intent. And then the Omega campaign for their next line of yo-yos came out, and that's kind of what got me more into it. And then that's when I kind of picked it up some more. One major thing that I've seen change throughout my yo-yo career is probably the technology of throws has just changed drastically, but it's also been implemented into every aspect of just play from from whether that's the manufacturer making throws that are more in line with what the players want, or the technology being more what the player thinks they want compared to what we already had. There's been a lot of shifting around that happens with the technology. I think that there's a lot of benefits to some of the limits that we had in the technology of throws back in the day that kind of get shunned or not delved into based off of kind of awkwardness and feel compared to the more modern setups of throws. I think that's the biggest change. I think when it comes to other industries or other trades like say music, guitars, microphones within audio, people still have a really high respect for the old methods that worked. They track those methods and they track the gear and all the specifics that still work. They don't just abandon the other things, and I think that's one of those things that I really, try to do my due diligence to make sure people stay cognizant of as we continue to elevate in the technology side is being able to keep proper understanding and proper cognizance of the quality things of the old technology. In competition, I want to see more contests. I don't necessarily want to see an abundance of contests. I want to see different types of contests being thrown, and they don't have to be geared towards competition. They can just be meetups that have, competitions in them. Something that's a bigger push towards everything else outside of getting on the stage and doing a freestyle that's judged with points with judges, et cetera, et cetera. I think there needs to be more emphasis on the actual chilling part and just having fun with the yo-yoing, whether that's doing, quirky challenges and that being what you do as the main thing, or being on stage and doing freestyle where it's using as many elements as you possibly can without putting together, tricks that you already know. I want to see more variation. We've been doing freestyles in this format for years, and there's no reason why we shouldn't start to try some other things. I think a lot of people don't really like the judging system as it stands now. Personally, I'm not really a fan either. And I don't think that the solve is to try to nickel and dime fix what we currently have. I think the solve is to try to do something completely different. There's no reason why we can't have different leagues of yo-yo contests, no different than 44 Clash doing it. So I think that's where I think competition should go. It should go more towards not competition. One thing that I love about the team, I like the fact that there's a really serious level of kind of camaraderie. It's like a big family, and it doesn't matter, anybody's skills, tenure or whatever. Everybody kind of treats everybody with the same level of respect, and it's just a good time. The One Drop team doesn't focus so heavily on the competition aspect, and that's a good thing. When people get into, yo-yoing, I'm sure you guys didn't get in to win or to be the best. That's not generally any intention or any reason as to why any thrower gets into this in the first place. So the fact that that's not the main element of the team, I'm really happy with that. We're more about just chilling and kicking it and exchanging elements and whatnot. And, that makes the team great. I've been on a variety of different teams, and every team I've been on was good because every one of those players vibed on the tricks and vibed on, just the element of the vibe of the team, more so than the fact that we're on a team and we compete. That was never prevalent in any of the teams I've been on. And it's not prevalent in this one, and that's what I like about it.
Yeah, it's like down the street.
Well, I think there's a few reasons that I've like really been into One Drop for as long as I have. The first one being that they just make yo-yos that I like better than other ones. Like something about just the way they're made, like the quality of it, made in America, just it's better than other companies out there. And that's something that I really found out early on into yo-yoing. But once I got past just using good yo-yos, I found this camaraderie, this like huge family connection within the team before I was even on, like talking to you on Facebook before I got sponsored, meeting Nehemiah, well before, I've known him forever. Greg's been a great friend of mine. Everybody on the team, really, I think we just all have this really good sense of brotherhood, not even that, sisterhood now. Like it's good yo-yos and good people is a short way to put it. I'd say the biggest change from before I was a part of it to now that I'm on the inside is I can really tell like a lot more about the individual personality of a lot of our players. Like, everybody has this character that they show and that's who they are in the community. Markmont is definitely a big character and someone who's looked at as a brand almost. But now that I'm on the team with him and having all these conversations, he's just another friend. He's another person on the team that we can all get along with. So I think we really just get this tight sense of getting to know each other as more than just teammates. Like we all just get along in a certain way.
As an outlet of expressing yourself, why yo-yoing?
Well, initially it was just because I knew yo-yoing. Like it was something that I had already invested time into and something that I was comfortable with using as an outlet of expression or creativity. But now that I'm, have all of these associations from whether it be One Drop or the team or all these experiences that I have in contests, I just have this positive association with yo-yoing that I can't really put on anything other than like, I just enjoy it better than a lot of other things out there. Like I have fun doing it, and using it as a creative outlet is just easy because I know what it is and I'm comfortable with it.
Ladies and gentlemen, Ethan, Shawn.
I was really happy to just make finals and showcase what I've been working on. And honestly, I just really wanted to do something that was true to myself and something that was personally tied to what I've done in the past. And that was actually a freestyle to a recording of my band, my jazz band from 4 years ago. So it was really cool to do. My process for making a freestyle, I start with the music, because I feel like the music really ties a freestyle together, and I try to look at it from the big picture, and I try to pick music that has direction, not just music that has good cues to cue to, but also music that has different textures, different colors that especially for this freestyle, I tried to kind of reflect in my yo-yoing.
Is it weird, do you think, being on a team that has so few competitors and being such a high-level competitor?
Man, I don't think it's really weird at all, because I'd say we're all really different people, different personalities, but I think just being a competitor that just brings a different perspective to the table on your team. And yeah, competing is it's just the way for me to showcase what I've been working on, and I don't think that really makes me totally different from everyone else. The thing I love most about being on One Drop is that there's no pressure to not be yourself and try to fit in with the community or place high or do amazing stuff. And I think having that kind of vibe within the team just allows us to have such great like personalities around the team.
Okay.
Greg, first off, I really need to know your short-term and long-term plans for your hair.
Oh man, this is a hard one. So I want to donate it once I can get a ponytail that's like 8 inches from the base of it. That's my goal with that. But I just want to keep growing it out after that because I like having long hair. Makes me feel free.
Free?
Yes, it makes me feel free.
Okay. As someone who does not compete often, what is your favorite part of yo-yo contests?
Just hanging out with friends. I like seeing these guys, I like seeing you, Will, Talia, everyone, Drew, Nem. You guys
I
are
like you too. What influences your yo-yo style?
I would say my biggest influences are a lot of Russian players like Ivan Mastin, Lazar Medvedev, Nikita Ekman, and then some like other tech players like Nehemiah, Drew, Darnell, people like that. So I just watch their stuff, see a movement, try to replicate it from like a different mount, and then see where that takes me.
What do you love about being on Team One Drop?
Well, I like the team, pretty much. You're all my homies, and I just love chilling with you guys. That's pretty much what it is. Don't laugh at me, Will. That's what it is.
Sorry. What is it like being a female yo-yoer in a community that is mostly males?
I mean, I never really noticed it until other people pointed it out, and other female players are like, oh yeah, like, it's so weird, isn't it? And they get like very cliquey at contests. And so, like, I've never had any issues with it. Like, I've always hung out with the guys, but it's yo-yoing, so I've never felt any different.
Some of the issues that you've had to face in yo-yoing.
I've gotten in a couple of fights actually online because I'm very open about my sexuality, and there have been a lot of players that have gotten upset with brands over that and stuff like that, and I was just like, oh, fight you, but I don't really think I've had any issues. Like, yeah, it's a pretty chill environment, probably because of the people I choose to, hang around and associate with, yeah.
What is your favorite part about being on Team One Drop?
Like I said, the people I associate with, which all happen to pretty much just be One Drop players. Before I even got on, I hung out with like everyone that was on One Drop because I just really, got along with everyone on it. It's a really chill team, and I think a really creative one. And it's not very like stressful, I guess, in terms of like you have to do this to maintain this. It's really
I've never felt like there was any expectation.
Yeah, it's really chill.
Just kind of do what you want to do, and that's what we want you to do.
Yeah, and then there's it's pretty chill. Yeah, that's what I like about being on One Drop. It's pretty chill.
I value your friendship.
I value your friendship. Is that PG enough?
Cut.
Emceeing Worlds is a crazy experience. It's a rush because I've been emceeing competitions for like quite a long time now, but the Worlds is different because you have such a different level of talent. Like you have international talent coming to this one competition, and to be able to take all of these talents and work with all of them and create such an atmosphere for the crowd is like such an awesome treat. And so I've loved Emceeing World. I would love to do it again. It's a great honor, honestly. I honestly feel like that's like a top 10 moment of my entire yo-yoing career, is being able to MC that competition.
Okay, you've been on the team for how long now?
10 years.
10 years?
Mm-hmm. Almost 10 years. 2008, yeah, right out, yeah, right around there. 2008, 2009.
In your opinion, what is one of the most impressive things that you've seen through the development of the team over the years?
The One Drop team?
Yeah.
Most impressive development of the team. You know, I think that One Drop has always been a team where the players have been as approachable as possible. I mean, you're at a competition, we're a chill team, you know? It's not this like higher level of ego that people try to present. But one thing that I have to say is that the addition of Ethan Chung has taken the competition, especially from a One Drop level where we're not really competitively focused, but you have Ethan Chung who is placing unbelievably well. I think arguably he should have won the World Yo-Yo Contest in Iceland. It was one of the most beautiful routines that you can possibly have created. And it was so true to Ethan. I mean, he's like a jazz player. And so he constructed his entire routine to jazz music. The choreography was as good as it could possibly have been. I've loved seeing Ethan, and I recognize that this is a question about how has the team progressed, but I've loved seeing Ethan progress just as a player through the team and seeing him grow since he joined to where he is now. It was one of our greatest adds, and I'm so happy to share a team with him.
Can you tell us one other thing or one thing in general that you really love about being on Team One Drop?
Yeah, I kind of want to go back to the fact that the team is such an approachable medium of people. I mean, we kind of have a motley crew, and there's not a a single like adjective that you can use to describe the team. Everybody comes from different places in the world. Everybody has different things that they like to do. But at the end of the day, we kind of come together, and it doesn't really matter where we come from. We just really like to hang out. And so we're approachable. We like to spend time at competitions just catching up, and it's not this competitive focus. It's not driven by anything other than kind of the good times. And that kind of goes back to the One Drop brand. I mean, it's this easy flowing, wonderful collection of ideas and people that come together for this just like calming, awesome feeling. And that's what like I feel personally that One Drop is trying to push, is that it's a brand that makes you feel good. It's a yo-yo that feels good for the right time. It's a yo-yo that satisfies the right requirement for what you're feeling. And so that I think that kind of summarizes what I've felt from being part of the One Drop team, is that it's chill. There's no expectation. It's just a time for people to be people in a yo-yo community setting, and there's no expectation for who you're trying to be. You don't have to be a certain type of person on stage. If you're even on stage, it's just about being a One Drop player or using One Drop yo-yos. It's just relax, chill, do your thing, you know?
I do know.
You're the key to that shit, man. All right, sick.
All right.
Good?
Everybody's dying to know what got you into the brand.
Well, it's a bit of a long story. So I had been into yo-yos pretty much my whole life, starting in the 80s with the Duncans and 90s with the Tom Coons, and then late 90s with the Yo-Megas, and then the early 2000s with the Yo-Yo Jams. And I don't know what happened, but it was like 2009, 2010. I had all my yo-yos, and I was like, I wonder what these, what's new, what's modern. And I started looking up yo-yo. I think I Googled modern yo-yo, and up comes like all these videos and these pictures of these yo-yos, and I saw these crazy anodized yo-yos, a lot of the Carbolage stuff, and then I saw this green and purple Y factor. It was a green haze Y factor, so I'm like, oh shit! And it was like Yo-Yo Expert. It was like their official like it was the Yo-Yo Expert edition, only sold through them. So I had looked it up, and I realized it was local to me. It was 2 towns over. So I emailed Yo-Yo Expert, and I asked if they had a storefront, and they're like, no, but you can come in. Went there, bought a couple yo-yos, and I bought a yellow dingo and a green haze Y factor. And that yo-yo was just like throwing it, the precision about it, and then looking up One Drop, and they were a small company, everything made in the US, a couple of guys. That's what really sold me on that. And then over time, I realized I could buy yo-yos directly from One Drop because they were selling them through the store. And I started sending emails, and this guy started responding to me, and it was David, and we developed an email friendship, I guess you could say. And it kind of took off from there, and it just, everything about what they did appealed to me, small, local, doing it right, and making kick-ass yo-yos.
Can you give any advice to people in the community that are, a little bit older, like say over 30 or something?
I would say, just remember when you were a kid and try to get that feeling back. And I think that's one thing I like about yo-yoing is it brings me back to that innocence of being a kid and not having to worry about a lot of stuff, and that being an adult paying bills and all that stuff that you have to worry about. Yo-yoing is a release. And I think that if you're older, you may feel like, oh, people are gonna laugh at me or pick on me, but like I've never had anyone do that. And I go to breweries and I'll yo-yo in front of people drinking beer, and they're like, oh, that's awesome. And how do you do that? And I'm not that good, and they're like thinking I'm like the best thing since sliced bread. So it's really cool to get the feedback from people, and if you just do it, it's great. And I think that older people can start and not feel the pressure that all these teenagers are like doing these crazy tricks, And that's the cool thing about going to contests. You can be like, just starting, and people are going to accept you and want to give you tips and tricks and stuff like that. So that's cool too.
Now that you're, part of the team, what's one thing that you really enjoy about it? One thing that you love about this team?
I think it's good that we all aren't, sitting there trying to like come up with crazy freestyles and spend all our time worrying about the stage when there's this whole yo-yo universe on the other side of the stage with the community of talking to people and making friends and building relationships, and that's what I like about it. The friends I've met through yo-yoing over the years are some of my best friends. My best friend now is someone I met through yo-yoing, and it just, you develop a bond because you have this toy that kids play with, and I'm 42, and all my friends at yo-yo that I kind of got into it with are all in their late 30s or early 40s, so it's a way for us all to have something common, but also we bring in all the other things that we do as well, whether it's work or drinking beer or other things that we enjoy.
Right.
And it's that one thing, that kind of that glue that keeps us all together is the yo-yo community.
U.S. National Yo-Yo Contest right now. What would you say is the biggest difference between American yo-yoing and European yo-yoing in terms of like culture, or tricks, or whatever?
Well, as far as the events go, the European countries are more like relaxed and laid back as far as like, the fun aspect of it. Like, it is very competitive, but the crowd just goes wild in a different way.
Sure.
And as far as the style, I think the European players are trying to go with finding their own style for the tricks they are putting on stage, and care about less for the scores, I guess. And here in the US, what I can see is, the people are trying to just get as many scores as they can out of their freestyle, but this also results in some of the players having pretty similar tricks or like down to the same trick. But compared to that, I think the US players bring a lot more density and technical tricks into their freestyles and combos for the sake of high risk, high reward effect.
what would you say is one thing that you really love about being on Team One Drop?
Just when I started out, I I really liked how Mark Montgomery was playing and his style, and I was like pretty new to the community, and I just saw that he had this eye on this company called One Drop, and they had the first model, the project, and it was just interesting as a new company from the US. I just really wanted to try it, and it was just really nice. And after Paul and the other guys joined back in the day, it was just starting to look like a good fit. As far as individuality and personality go, like if you look at that aspect, then we just felt that it's a really nice group of people, and I just really like the team, and the fact that you can be just friends with the owners too, because David and Shawn are like really interesting people if you get to know them, yeah. So if you get to know them more, it's just you get like friends, I guess, that you wouldn't expect.
There's a lot of trains out here. It's very loud.
So it's been awesome to learn that, and it's also been really cool to, let's wait for this. Alright, so it's been really cool.
Nehemiah Peterson.
Yes.
How are you on this muggy evening?
I'm doing pretty well. It is definitely muggy though.
Yeah? Are you excited that we're nearing the end of our filming for this documentary?
Yeah, it's been probably one of the coolest experiences I've done in my yo-yoing, but it's definitely been one of the hardest things I've done. So I think probably like organizing everyone to actually film was probably the hardest part, but once we started filming, it was really awesome to see everybody's personality come out. It was really cool. I loved the experience. So, yeah.
Well, I'd say that's part of why you're here. Can you tell us just like one major thing that you really love about One Drop?
Yeah, being somebody who's been sponsored before, it's kind of cool to just see how different teams interact with their players. And I think the coolest thing about being on One Drop is just the fact that there isn't like, most companies have like an expectation. Like you go into it like Yo-Yo Factory, what I saw when I was there is they highly valued competition. And so it's like you received more, I don't know if attention's the right word, but it was better for you as a member if you were putting in that work and really disciplining yourself competitively, which is super cool, but it definitely wasn't for me. And then with Word, it definitely was more about like, marketing the yo-yos and everything. And again, that's super cool, but I felt like the one thing that I was missing that I wanted out of a sponsor, I found with One Drop, which is just the homey atmosphere of let's really pull out your creativity. So it's not about the yo-yos, it's not about the competition, it's about whatever you want to do. So like Ethan is a competitor, he wants to compete, we support him in that. As a whole team, as a brand, we are totally behind him in that. Someone like me who just wants to do media and create stuff that really doesn't score on stage, the whole team's behind me there. They're like pushing my creativity, trying to help me get better at it, supporting me with the media. So it's just really cool to be able to come to a team and just be yourself and not have to worry about, okay, I need to hit this, I need to meet this expectation. In companies with expectations, that's cool, but for me it's just been awesome to, you know, come into it as I am and feel the love from the team and to kind of give that back as well. I feel like it's awesome that I'm able to do that for others, because I'm sure I'm not the only one who feels that way, who wants that to just be them, and it's been awesome.
What would I say my role is?
Self-described.
Self-described. I don't know if I have a good description in my own words of it.
Sure.
I feel like other people have kind of been able to analyze it better than I can.
Okay.
Because honestly, I don't feel like I do too much except for just going to the contests and just trying to walk around and just be friendly to people and talk to them, have real conversations. I think Jensen described it best when he said that I was soccer mom, stepdad, and coach, like combined into one entity. It seems like whether or not I necessarily want that to be the case, it just kind of ends up happening.
Sure.
But I'm more than happy to help out the team and make sure that everybody has what they need and has a good time while they're out at the contests, and just promoting the brand the best way that I know how, which is this person-to-person interaction. That's really what I try to advocate for, and I think that's probably the best way to sell yo-yos. For me, I just want people to be real with me 100% of the time. I don't really like pretentiousness or, superficial conversations. To me, they don't really have any value, like, in my opinion. Even if somebody doesn't like me or has like an issue with something that I've said in the past, I'd rather talk to them about it and, see if I can resolve the issue, rather than just have somebody hold a grudge or, hold a grudge myself or anything like that. I just don't feel like there's room for any kind of negative energy in this community. It's really small, and it's also got a loyal fan base. I feel like people that start into it generally stay into it for as long as they can.
Sure.
So I just feel like we shouldn't have any of that, no negative connotations involved with it,
Definitely.
I'd say the number one thing about this team for me is the fact that nobody on this team has an ego. That's a big deal for me, just with humans in general. And I think the fact that everybody on this team is like very approachable and down to earth is really what sets us apart from any other team. You know, you can go to a contest even now and you can walk around and you can see how these like social circles kind of form.
Of course.
And sometimes it starts to feel a little bit like high school to me. It's always nice for me to be able to see everybody with their One Drop shirts just kind of walking around through the crowds and, you know, trading tricks with kids and like just having like that genuine connection and making everybody feel welcome and accepted. That's probably like my number one thing that I love about the team. And I'd say that's probably the most important thing as far as like what One Drop team members look for, you know. That's all we want. We just want good people.
Definitely.
Your skill in yo-yo doesn't matter. You know, the way you approach it doesn't matter. How you want to yo-yo, whether or not you want to try to win a competition or just do some off-the-wall tricks that a lot of people aren't going to enjoy. Like, I feel like Dave and Shawn really created a place where all of us can like thrive in our individuality. And I think that's probably the best part about it.